Understand, when somebody try to disturb your peace, that's because they're disturbed by your peace, first of all. So what are we looking at here? Reactions, right? But for us who have elevated our thinking, right, it's a true response from our real self. We responding. We are not reacting as a result of what they doing. We're simply responding accurately for the chosen outcome, you know? So if somebody get to tripping on you, don't ever sweat that shit, you know? Don't engage a fool in their folly. Continue to move the way that you know how to and rise above that bullshit, you know? It's easy, it's simple to get drawn in, especially when things like disrespect, certain topics come up that you feel are vital to your, you know, being or survival. But once you begin to understand, listen, y'all don't decide nothing for me. Y'all ain't got to deal with this XYZ. I'm doing this shit, you know? A lot of things get put in their proper perspective, and certain things may matter a lot more and some a lot less, you know? And you can choose your peace. You can choose to continue to have your peace and overcome the necessary challenges, but understand some things are totally out the way, you know? And choosing not to deal with those things is a form of overcoming them rather than engaging, you know? For example, for a woman, you know what I'm saying? Let's say she talking to a man, they become a romantic, you know what I'm saying? But then let's say he do something where it just totally throw off everything she feeling. She was feeling it, he was cool, you know, all that. Boom, say the right things, boom, they been hanging out, it's been cool, been respectful, all that. All the things, whatever worked for her, right? Whatever it is. But now, something happening that she don't like. And regardless of whatever he did, regardless of if she found out, you know, oh, he talking to this girl, or maybe it's something like, you ain't text me back, whatever it is for her, once she's realized that, you know what, I don't like that a motherfucker is doing this. Oh, pardon my language. I don't like that this person is doing this, you know. Once she realized that, you have the choice then to continue to deal with that shit or to move on and to not deal with it. And it gets deep too, because it's fucked up, right? Like, part of you wants to be like, from the conditioning, you know, part of you wants to be like, almost explain to them how they're wrong. But see, in that situation, she would be doing herself a disservice, because how are you wrong about how you feel, you know? And we could sit here and argue all day about, well, if y'all was supposed to be texting back and this, it's all just upon what understanding y'all have and if y'all have one, you know? And after that, there's still free will to do whatever the fuck you want, you know? So getting caught up in another person's actions is really just going to prevent you from being your most authentic self. It's just going to get you caught up in some shit you don't want no business, you know? You don't want nothing to do with, for real. And it's wild, because choosing that is alchemy. Choosing that is the magic, you know what I'm saying? Understanding when to pick your battles, or how to pick your battles, rather. And when to engage and when not to engage. These are some of the most basic but vital principles, man. Knowing when to apply what to what. Being able to identify something and then move accordingly based on the proper identification. Okay? And it's tricky too, you know? It's tricky because they try to classify shit, you feel me? They want to put everything in boxes and classify things, and then they teach us, once something is one thing, it can't be something else. It has to be that, because it is now that, you know? And we've adopted this mentality of what was originally used to describe nouns or inanimate objects. We've become the inanimate object, you know? It's fucked up. I got off track a little bit, but the main point being, stay focused. Stay on your square. Don't let outside influences throw you off of those things, okay? Learn how to move through them. Learn how to identify, learn what is what and what to apply to that. Sometimes what you apply to it is nothing. You disengage. Okay? I learned when I was young. Well, I heard this when I was young. I probably learned it years later. But I always kept in my mind, do not engage a fool in their folly. Never engage a fool in their folly. Okay? Because once you begin to act in the same manner, even if it's in a spirit of you trying to change some XYZ, once you begin to act in that, you are now that. You are on that same level. If you're not that, you are on that exact same level as them. You've most likely lowered yourself severely, which is going to do damage, you know. The way it was put to me, they was like, never engage a fool in their folly. Like, if you seen a motherfucker, let's say you posted up somewhere, right? You chilling, you outside, it's a nice, beautiful day. This motherfucker walk up to the middle of the street, light themselves, pour gasoline all over themselves, and then light themselves on fire. You watch them do this. Are you about to run up to them and be like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? Like, give me a hug, or like, hey, what are you doing? Are you finna have anything to say to them, or is you finna just try to stay the fuck away from that shit? Because at this point, they done made their choice, you know? And they put it so abruptly to me because I think they gave a couple other examples where I'm like, well, you know, kids got questions. Well, what if you always trying to find a loophole, you know? And they said, well, check this out. This is the base of what I'm saying. If somebody is doing some shit that has nothing to do with you, if you're far enough away to observe it, you know, it's not directly impacting you quite yet, and you can see to what it's leading to, what interest do you have in engaging with that shit? What could you learn from it? What will you get from it? Why are you trying to engage that shit? And just apply that to anybody out here you see tripping. You know what I'm saying? So you riding around or something and somebody on the side of you, they speed past you real crazy. You know what I'm saying? Almost hit your car or something. These are all tests, you know, to try to pull you into your lower nature, because the realm that we live in, planet Earth, is the lower nature. It's the lowest nature that we know of. You know what I'm saying? They talk about hell. Look around you. You know what I'm saying? For real, like, look around, y'all. Look at what goes on. Look at the overall moralistic standing of the powers that be that run, you know, the societal structures and different shit that we live and move through. Just look at it, you know? The kids dying, people starving, XYZ, and they act like there's not a solution when food literally grows out the ground. So what they do, poison the ground, poison the soil, genetically modify the fruits, genetically modify all the foods, chemically imbalance and change all these different snacks and foods to you think something safe, and buy up all these brands you think is natural and organic and this and that, and switch it. Like, come on, it's not that hard. You know what I'm saying? We're not here for fear mongering. We just here to wake your ass up. You know, and really in the process of this, what will happen is you will be accelerated. What I'm doing is accelerating your DNA. It's like giving you a boost, because a lot of y'all, see, you know shit, you know, you just don't know you know it. Or maybe you do, but you haven't begun to live through that truth that is you, the one that can show you the way. That actually the one that, scratch that, actually the one that's been showing you the way. Anything you feel you've ever done that is right or actually has added to you becoming more spiritually enlightened, more awakened to the shit around you, aware of yourself, anything that has bring you that is the magic. You know what I'm saying? That's the real you. And you can tune in with this, you know, you can tune into them. And it's not to be perfect and not to, you know what I'm saying, act like, oh, I don't have no problems. That's not it. But the worldly shit that seem day-to-day mundane feelings of shit will start to fade and fade and fade, and you'll be able to see the difference between this fake-ass shit they try to present to us and what's really going on, you know? Because these phones, for one, is one of the clearest indications of how distracted we are, you know? They got the kids, but it's okay. The kids still got time to learn and shit. What about the adults? You know, this is something really important to focus on, because the adults are the ones running it. And they try to trick us with more shit and say, you know, oh, you can't teach an old dog new tricks and people set in their ways and XYZ. Yeah, that may be true, but guess what we also have? Free will and the power to change anything. The power of change is severely underrated, partially because it hurts, because there's fear attached to it because of the hurt that comes from the change. All right, y'all, to make a change, it's going to hurt. To make a change, it hurt, and to live in that change can be very uncomfortable because it's literally unusual. It's unfamiliar. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's super unfamiliar to you. And anything unfamiliar causes some form of discomfort, you know? Because what's comfortable is what you know, what you're used to. And a lot of people don't know how to function in that, let alone accept that they need to function in that uncomfortableness or whatever to grow, and that discomfort to grow. All right, it's necessary for transformation. And for those of us, you know what I'm saying, doing the work, for everybody who's looking for a way to advance, you have to continue with this mindset in all directions of growth needed. And that a lot of time roots down to emotionally. Okay, are you in the process of balancing out your feelings? Do you even understand what you're feeling when you're feeling it? Okay, it's a lot about this. Emotions, mentality. See, mentality and emotions are not the same thing, but they do work together. Your mind. Okay, beyond just your human brain and mundane things that your brain can do, there is faculties within your brain, that is your mind, that is the basically computer, the processor of your true self. Or rather, the true self used is your mind, you know, because it's connected to the divine source, which is where we're pulling all this shit from, you know? And it's just like, I refuse to settle for mediocrity and for lesser human bullshit, especially after coming to certain realizations. You have to, for yourself, know where you headed and live in that, man, you know? Because it's crazy, the world constantly is going to be doing what the fuck the world is going to do, you know? So it's best to not get caught up in the ways of the world, but you got to stay aware as to what's going on around you. So what we were saying, you know how to respond. Okay, you got to know where to apply the medicine and when something is past saving, you know? You got to know that. You got to be able to distinguish between when something past gone versus when we can still remedy this. And if you should even, you know?